Hey, it's Peter Coffin. The shot heard around the world. I didn't think I'd be saying something like this in my lifetime, but they tried to kill a former president. And this is going to be one of those videos where I don't do major production or anything like that, because I just want to address two viewpoints that are immediately arising around the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. The first of those two viewpoints is that this is a staged assassination attempt. It's fake. It's a false flag operation. And that has to be handled right off because And the second viewpoint I want to address is the people saying, finally, more of this. But before I touch either of those viewpoints, I'm just going to say a little comment that I have to say real quick. Can you imagine missing? Like, that is the biggest L a would-be assassin can possibly take, because you make the guy into Jesus. Like, he's Jesus now. Like, among the people who would vote for Donald Trump, like, getting shot and surviving it and standing up and looking cool is, like, kind of the ultimate fantasy for a lot of those people. So let's pull that false flag out of the ground. If you think this is a false flag, you are demonstrating that you are still falling for polls. After this many years of polls being wrong and more wrong and just looking ridiculous, after this long of that, you're still going, okay, yeah, it's a close race between Trump and Biden. If you think this is a false flag, you think that Trump thought it was necessary to do some big stunt. No. Donald Trump was ahead in the polls for the most part, which means he's way ahead. Do you get that? Like, Joe Biden is a corpse running for president. It is actually Weekend at Biden's on Air Force One and the campaign trail. Okay? The polls showing that Joe Biden is somehow competitive with Trump. That's absurd. I don't care how bad Donald Trump is. I don't care how much of an idiot he is. I don't care how stupid he is. I don't care how big of a liar he is. The idea that a corpse is competitive with him is absurd. To say this is a false flag operation means you do not realize how far ahead, how likely to win Donald Trump is. And that means you've been either living in a dream world or you're just really bad at interpreting propaganda. It's not a false flag. I don't even entertain the idea that it is a false flag. That is so stupid. It is just such an absurd and ridiculous thing to think that Donald Trump needs to, like, fake being nearly killed. Donald Trump doesn't have to do shit. Donald Trump just has to show that he can be, like, witty. Like, that's it. That shows that his brain is at least working. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't live in a fantasy world. That doesn't mean he's smart and knows what he's doing at all times. Like, I do think that he knows what he's doing in business to at least some extent, but that doesn't mean that you're a good president by any means. I'm also not saying that means he's a bad president. Again, I've said this many times. This is not a race in which there are two substantially different candidates in anything but mental capacity. We have been on the same track as a country my entire life, which is 4 decades now, and I don't believe that they are substantially different. I don't believe it. And there are other factors that make it unlikely to be a false flag, in my opinion, outside of the ones that I've already mentioned. First, you would have to have a really good sniper. And second, Donald Trump is a huge pussy. Donald Trump isn't going to trust somebody to just shoot his ear. That's absolutely insane. And also, unfortunately, there is someone from the audience that is dead from the bullet. So it was a real bullet. That piece of information comes from Butler County District Attorney Richard Goldinger, who said that Trump was just grazed. He is apparently fine, but a person in the crowd is believed to be dead, and they also shot the guy who tried to kill Trump. That's not a situation Donald Trump is going to put himself in. That's absolutely just stupid. I can't believe that there are people who are that stupid to think that that is a possibility. So with that out of the way, I want to move on to the second viewpoint. It's a shame they missed. Dang. So when this happened, the first thing I did was just start talking to people. I texted my mom, some friends, got on Discord, etc., etc. That's a viewpoint that a lot of people seem to be seeing. A lot of people saying some variation of, oh, it's too bad he missed. Finally, direct action, more of that. And like, no, this is actually very stupid because a couple of things. First, they missed Trump and they gave him the most incredible propaganda opportunity any living politician has ever been given. Congratulations to the worthless imbecile who appears to have killed one innocent person and handed Donald Trump a golden propaganda tool. President Sunday completely correct here. 100% correct. Without question. But let's say the plan worked. Let's say Donald Trump was actually killed. Let's say it actually ended the former president's life before he could get elected a second time. Like, you realize that's how we get an actual Hitler, right? What we're getting here is the ultimate car salesman / reality TV personality with the best opportunity to brag ever. But if he was dead, if it worked, if he was no longer with us, it wouldn't be Donald Trump talking. It would be all of the worst people that like Donald Trump instead talking. Like all of the neo-Nazis and actual fascists that march around and look ridiculous would actually have a point. They'd be able to say, look, they killed our guy. And Donald Trump wouldn't be alive to say, I'm not their guy anymore either. He would be their guy. And they would be able to use his death to become much more powerful than they could have even dreamed of otherwise. And all of the people who are expressing the viewpoints that I've attempted to show aren't really that smart here today. Those people are living in a dream world. I am not saying I want Donald Trump to be president. I don't want either of the two men running for president to be president. I'm not interested in more of either of them. But Donald Trump is going to win. He was going to win before, and now he's going to win by the biggest margin you have ever seen in a presidential election. It's gonna be nuts. Somebody on Twitter actually had the gall to respond to me with, this is going to be buried in a week. We're not even gonna think about this. I don't think that person realizes how absurd a statement that is. It now no longer matters that Joe Biden's brain is mush. It doesn't matter. That's not the reason Donald Trump is going to win. Donald Trump is going to win because they tried to kill him. And after they shot him, he stood up and pumped his fist. I'm sorry, but that's it. It's game, set, and match. It's time to stop even thinking about the presidential election. It's over. I honestly think it was already over, but it's so over. There's nothing that could happen now. Assuming they keep Donald Trump alive from now until the election, it's his. And the country's not going to descend into fascism, at least not any more than it already has. Fascism is the violent clamping down of capitalism that is cycling through imperialist crises. That's been happening forever. And it just keeps decaying down further and further, and that has really nothing to do with Donald Trump, and everything to do with how society is. And until that changes, that's the path we're going to stay on. Whether it's Joe or Don, it doesn't matter. These guys really don't matter. But it's time to start being realistic. It's time to stop fooling yourself. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the MSNBC crowd is going to become 20 times more delusional instead of wake from their slumber. But let it be known that this is the opportunity to snap out of it. I said it in the last video. It's time to start integrating with your local community, building relationships, and building infrastructure to start to use a collective power. Like I said, that's level 1, and we have not gotten past it. CPI, the organization I'm involved in, is attempting to solve that problem specifically. We haven't solved it yet either. I'm not going to pretend we have, but that's at least the problem we're aimed at. So if you want to join an organization nationally, I'm obviously going to recommend that one because I'm in it. But if not, that's perfectly fine too. You got people around you. I know that some of you responded to me with the last video that you don't have social skills or you don't feel like you have the energy or ability to interact with your local community, but you do. There was a time before the internet where people with the exact same problems you have went out and integrated in the community. The internet is not helping. It's not making you better. It's not giving you social skills, and it's not healing whatever malady that you have. Stop believing crazy shit and start being around people. Please, please. I think that's all I've got for you. What do you have for me, though? There's buttons down there. Lick them, slurp all over them. Leave me a comment, probably arguing with me about something. I don't know. Please just consider what I've said here. I'm not trying to be like a firebrand or crazy or scorching the earth or anything like that. I'm saying what I think is rational. And I really wish that people would stop treating the things that I say like I'm trying to just be some kind of contrarian. You can find that my viewpoint is extremely consistent through the years. Don't forget to become a subscriber and money me at patreon.com/PeterCoffin. My documentaries are up here. My shorter form videos are over here. I'd appreciate the time that you spend on either of them. Thanks for spending the time on this one. I'll see you soon. I hope things are good for you. Bye-bye.